Maybe I'll never understand while I'm wasting my time instead of making a plan. I need action.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Jacob. It's Sunday, March 7th, 2021. And first of all, I want to thank everyone who's been listening to my debut EP, Action, and showing love in the comments, in the DMs. It really means a lot to me that you've been listening and enjoying this new EP. So I thought I'd do something a little different today and give a quick rundown of the mix for the title track and first song on the EP, Action. Today I'm going to be going through my Mixcraft session with you guys, just showing you some of the mixing techniques I used, soloing some of the instrumental and vocal parts, running down some of the effects, the plugins, just some of the quirks with this one, because there's some cool stuff going on, I think. So, as with most songs that I create, this one started with a bass line. I'm primarily a bass player, so that's probably no surprise. But I'll go ahead and solo this bass part, just to show you how the tune essentially started, and the initial seed of the idea I had for the song. So this is my Carvin 5-string bass going direct into the interface. We've got some compression on there, some light EQing, and a chorus effect. And that's basically it. That's the bass sound on this guy. So usually after I come up with a bass line, I'll lay down some drums just to get an idea for what the feel's going to be on the tune. So the next part was the drums here, so I'll play the drums and bass together. Pretty simple, just a kick, snare, and hi-hat. The snare does have a bit of a delay effect. You can listen here. It's a ping-pong delay going back and forth between the phones. You can hear it especially here on that double hit. So that was it. That was the foundation of the song, is the bass and drums there. After that, I layered in some keyboard parts, and we're still completely in the instrumental phases of creating this song at this point. So for the keyboard parts, there's really 4 voices. There's a whirly, a Rhodes, a lead that I like to call the duck quack lead. It's got that kind of sound to it. And then just another phased out Rhodes that just kind of plays this little arpeggio at the end of the choruses. So I'll solo the keys and play the end of the first verse into the chorus section. The whirly's just pounding away there. You hear that duck quack lead, of course. And then at the end, I love this little... It's really spacey, really delayed out. I just love the sound of that chord. Just gives it a very almost spooky kind of vibe that I really love on this tune. So once I created the instrumental for this, I was toying around with some ideas vocally. You know, originally this was going to be completely sung. I had some verse and chorus hook ideas for this, but I wasn't really feeling them that much, and I kind of thought that the song could go in a different direction. So I sent this instrumental over to my buddy Colin, who's on a couple tracks on this EP. He's also on the third song, Got It Right. He's a very talented vocalist and lyricist, so I wanted to see if he had any ideas for this one. And probably the same night or the next night, he sent me over a voice memo of him just recording the song directly into his phone on the desk, with the instrumental track playing in his monitors. And I dropped that into the session just to get an idea of how it would sound with all the rest of the tracks going on. And the funny thing is that that phone recording ended up just being the final vocal take for this. It was never, recorded through a microphone or anything. So that's why you get this kind of raw, grimy kind of sound on Colin's verse, which is the opening verse of this tune. So I'll play that soloed. And you're going to hear that, the track is still audible in his vocal take because, like I said, it was just playing through the monitors while he recorded a voice memo on his phone. But you hear it's really, like, dirty sounding. I loved it.
It's the same thing every day. Trying to make a change or a little bit of change, but not to change, everything's still the same. Shape or form, like what am I waiting for? 4 scores and 20 more, I'll be nothing more. So why am I front and stay sitting at home when I could have been hunting? Get stuck in like Elmer, glued to the groove, make a move when it's due like Velma.
Scooby-Doo reference.
Staying scared like Scooby, playing a support role in my own movie. Maybe I'll never understand while I'm wasting my time instead of making a plan. I need action.
So that's it. That was the final vocal take, straight off the phone. I loved the lyrics, and that concept set the foundation for the rest of the tune. It was just an instrumental. I didn't give Colin any direction, and sometimes the best ideas just come out like that. So in a similar vein, I recorded my verse, although I did mine through a microphone, but I applied some reductive EQ and some pretty hard compression on there to try to give it a little more dirt, just to tonally kind of stay similar to Colin's verse. So here's my verse. You've also got some pitch-shifted vocals in here.
Day. I need action and I need it in the worst way. Before they pull up with that hearse, hey, I seen it happen to my friends. I was like, wait, am I already too late? The way it's looking, I'll succumb to that same fate. Like, where the fuck's the rewind? It's only pause and play. I'm here wasting every day. I need action.
Lots of delay on there. We like to keep it ambient. You know how it is. So, so now we've got, the instrumental and both verses. And again, I'm toying with some hook ideas vocally, thinking maybe I'll still sing it or get someone else to sing a hook for this one. But I ended up stumbling across an interview online. It's actually a Neil Young interview from 1980-something. And I just thought thematically it felt in the same vein as the vocals that Colin came up with, and then that my verse kind of mirrored. So I actually just ended up using these samples for, a little intro and over the hook sections. And it really just, in my opinion, kind of fit the tune nicely. So I'll start with the intro. I'll show you the Neil Young sample that I used there.
You have to be ready to give everything you have, and you have to make sure you really got a lot to give. Because if you go out there and you're not ready to give everything you have, and you're not strong enough to give as much as you possibly can, to go right to the end of the candle, to where it's going to just, melt and be gone, then you're nothing. You shouldn't even be there.
So yeah, just processed with some delay. Also kind of got a dirty sound to it, so it fit, the timbre fit perfect with the rest of the vocals. And once again, I liked what he was talking about in this interview, and it felt like it fit the theme of this song. The way I would describe this song is just dealing, especially as an artist, but really in any profession or any field, dealing with the insecurity that you're not putting your full undivided attention and effort into what it is you love in life, and worrying that, maybe you're getting stagnant, maybe you're kind of losing your creativity, losing your motivation, and are you really pushing yourself as hard as you could be to be the best that you can? And that's really what Neil is talking about in this interview. You don't want to look back on your life and say, hey, maybe I didn't do enough. So that's something I think a lot of people deal with, and that's kind of what the song sticks to thematically here. So I'll show you the next sample. I'll pull up the lyrics here.
My time instead of making a plan, I need action.
Meaning, and what is success to you?
success is continuing to keep the process going and to create and to keep it coming out, keep the flow going, reflecting on what's happening.
And again, it's really just, keeping an ambient, delayed out kind of vibe throughout the tune with just that steady kick snare foundation in the drums. And that really sets up this whole tune. There's one more chorus section at the end that I'll play for you guys. And that'll pretty much wrap it up.
So you still believe it's better to do it?
Well, you've got to get as far out there as you can. If you're not, then you're cheating the audience. It's not right. People come to see rock and roll. That's what rock and roll is. If you're just going through the paces, then that's not rock and roll.
It's not rock and roll. I love that. If you're just going through the paces, then that is not rock and roll. And then, of course, we've got the one last pitch-shifted vocal sample at the end. Better to burn out than to rust. And that's a question I pondered on. And once again, I think it just fits the vibe of the song. But really, I think what Neil's referring to there is, he'd rather push himself to the edge of what, his mind and body are capable of handling, and burn himself out. He'd much rather stray too far in that direction than the other direction, which is to become stagnant, to become stale, to rust, essentially. So I think there's a happy balance to find in life between burning out and rusting. Of course, sometimes we all stray too far in one direction or the other. But, Neil's opinion is he'd rather burn out. So take that as you will and apply that to your own life as you will. But anyways, I really appreciate you checking out this mix breakdown and listening to my debut EP, Action. Let me know if you enjoyed this style of video, and maybe I'll do mix breakdowns for one of the other tunes on the EP. This is Jacob Ott from City Fact Records, signing off, and just reminding you to dream big, take action, and keep supporting local music. Thank you.
Well, it's the same thing every verse. Every day. I need action and I need it in the worst way. Before they pull up with that hearse, hey, I seen it happen to my friends. I was like, wait.